Good morning, dear students. Today we'll start with the properties of electric field lines. In previous class, we learned about the electric field lines, how to draw the electric field lines for different charges, that is unit positive charge, unit negative charge, a pair of like charges, that is a pair of positive charges or negative charges, and a dipole. Okay, so today we are going to study about the properties of electric field. Properties of electric field. Okay, electric field lines. So you may get this question for 3 marks in your exam. Okay, you may get it for 3 marks. Uh, Write any 3 properties of electric field lines as such. Okay, it is a very important concept. You may get it for 3 marks. So the first property is, I'll read out the property and then I'll explain you. And I'll give you the notes, but in case if you want to make your own notes, you can start making your notes. Okay, so the first property is electric field lines are always originated from positive charge and it is terminated towards the negative charge. So what does the first property says? The electric field lines, okay, the electric field lines always originate from the positive charge and move towards or terminate towards the negative charge. Okay, so it is like it's the electric field lines originate, they start from positive charge and they move towards the negative charge. Okay, it originates from the positive charge and move towards the negative charge. Okay, this is the first property. Now see, this is a positive charge and this is negative charge. We see that the electric field is originated and moves toward and move towards the negative charge. We see this in case of a dipole. So what is a dipole? Two equal and opposite charges separated by a distance is a dipole. So we see this property in a dipole. But in case of single charge, what will be the property? But in case of single charge, see, if I consider one positive charge or a one unit charge or a one single charge, what will be the first property? It is like it is originated from the charge and terminates towards infinity. If you consider positive charge, please note down the difference. If you consider only a single positive charge, okay, the electric field lines originate from the charge and move towards infinity. Okay, and move towards infinity. So this is in the positive electric charge. Okay, move towards infinity. So you know it, you know how to draw it. Okay, so the property is based on this only. It originates at the charge and move towards the infinity. And now if you consider the electric charge that is negative, if you consider a single negative electric charge, what happens? The electric field generates at the infinity and move towards the charge. Okay, it generates at the infinity and move towards the charge. Okay, did you understand the three difference in the first property itself? What happens? It generates, originates at the infinity and move towards the charge, that is negative charge. So what was the first property? The electric field lines are always originated from positive charge and is terminated towards the negative charge if you consider a dipole. Okay, if you consider a dipole. If you consider a unit positive charge, the electric field lines are originated at the charge and move towards infinity. But if you consider a single negative charge, the electric field lines are originated at infinity and move towards the negative charge. So this is the property number 1, the first property. Okay, this is the first property. And the second property is, in a charge-free region, electric field lines are continuous lines. What happens? In a charge-free region, charge-free, there is no charge. In a charge-free region, electric field lines are continuous lines. Okay, electric field lines are continuous line. If you're making a note, as I am explaining, you can make a note. And but anyway, I'm going to give you the notes. But for your understanding, if you're making notes, please make some points when I'm explaining. Okay. So the second property is, in a charge-free region, electric field lines are continuous lines. Okay. And the third property is the third property, the tangent drawn to the electric field line. Okay, the tangent drawn to the electric field line at any point gives the direction of electric field at that particular point. Okay, the tangent drawn to the electric field line at any point gives the direction of electric field at that particular point. See, if this is the, I'll explain the third property. If this is the electric field, see, if this is the electric field line, and you want to know the direction of electric field at point, say, P. Okay, you want to know the electric field at point P. Then you have to draw a tangent at point P. You have to draw the tangent at point P. Okay. So this tangent drawn gives you the direction of the electric field. So this is the third property. Okay, this is the third property. What it says, the tangent drawn to the electric field line at any point. See, we considered point P. So at any point gives you the direction of electric field at that particular point. Okay, if you want to find a direction of electric field, just draw tangent. Okay, you will get the direction of electric field. So this was the third property. Now coming to the fourth property, which is very important, or you can say it is helpful in the coming chapters. Okay, so that is, the electric field lines are never a closed loop. Okay, I can say the electric field line is never a closed loop. Okay, there's never a closed loop. So now what do you mean by a closed loop and an open loop? They are saying the electric field line is never a closed loop. See, if we consider a dipole, see, consider the dipole. Dipole is drawn over here, but still I'll draw it over here. See, if we consider a dipole, one is positive and one is negative, equal and opposite charges separated by certain distance. Okay, so if we consider the dipole, the electric field moves from what? Which is stated in first property. It originates from the positive charge and move towards the negative charge. Okay, it originates from the positive charge and move towards the negative charge. So the arrow direction will be facing the negative charge, and it doesn't come in the reverse manner, right? It won't come from the negative charge and doesn't originate at the negative charge and move towards the positive charge. We saw here in case of negative charge, it originates at the infinity and move towards the negative charge. So there is no way out right like this, right? There is no way out like this. Reverse way is not there. So we say that the electric field lines are never a closed loop. But if we consider, just for your understanding purpose, I am giving the example of a magnetic field. We'll study about the magnetic field in the coming chapters in detail. But just for your understanding, what is closed loop and what is open loop, I'll just give you the example of magnetic field. See, same as that of electric field, we have magnetic field. Okay, for that, let us consider a bar magnet. We all have seen the bar magnet. So here is the north pole and here is the south pole. Okay, here is the south pole. Now what happens? The magnetic field lines are moving from north to south. Okay, from north to south outside the magnet. Outside the magnet, they are moving from north to south. Whereas inside the magnet, they are moving from south to north. They are moving from south to north. What is happening? Outside the magnet, they are moving from north to south. Okay, they are moving from north to south. Whereas inside the magnet, the magnetic field lines are moving from south to north. So now can you see the closed loop over here? There is a loop closed. So there is a closed loop. Whereas here it is an open loop. It is only in one direction, unidirection. It is not coming back in and making a loop. Whereas here you can see it moves from north to south outside, and when it comes inside, it moves from south to north. So this is a closed loop. Okay, in magnetic field, we see closed loop, whereas in electric field, the loop is never closed. Okay, it is never a closed loop. So this is the fourth property. This is the fourth property. And what about the fifth property? Electric field lines never cross each other. Electric field lines never cross each other. Okay, this is the fifth property. And the sixth property is electric field lines are always perpendicular to the surface of the conductor. So if we consider the sixth property here, if we consider the conductor, say this is the conductor. This is the conductor and this is the electric field line. Okay, one is here and one over here. It is always perpendicular to the surface of the conductor. The sixth property says electric field lines are always perpendicular to the surface of the conductor. So these are the 6 properties of electric field lines, and you may get it for 3 marks. It is an important question. Okay, important question. Understand the properties and write the properties in your exam. So what was the first property? Electric field lines are always originated from the positive charge and it is terminated towards the negative charge in case of dipole. Whereas in case of single positive charge, the electric field is originated at the positive charge and move towards the infinity. And in single negative charge, okay, single negative charge, the electric field lines are originated at infinity and move towards the negative charge. So this is the first property. Second property, in a charge-free region, electric field lines are continuous lines. There is no break. Okay, there is no break. In charge-free region, electric field lines are continuous lines. And the third property is the tangent drawn to the electric field line at any point gives the direction of electric field at that particular point. Okay. And the fourth property, the electric field line is never a closed loop, or you can say the electric field lines are always the open loop. Either of the sentence you can write. Electric field lines are never closed loop. Okay, or you can say the electric field lines are always the open loop. Anything you can write. And the fifth one is electric field lines never cross each other. Electric field lines never cross each other. And the last property is electric field lines are always perpendicular to the surface of the conductor. Okay, got it? So these are the 6 properties of electric field lines. And so now we'll go to electric flux. This is also an important concept. We are moving to electric flux. Electric flux. So now what is electric flux? We'll understand with the explanation. Let us consider the direction of electric field like this. Okay, we'll consider the direction of electric field in this manner. We have few electric field lines which are in this direction. Okay, so in this direction. Now let E be the direction of electric field. I'll name them as vector E. Let the direction of electric field be in this direction and I'll name them as vector E. Now let us consider a small area. Now let us consider a small area delta S. So we'll consider a small area over here. We'll consider a small area which is named as, I will write it over here, delta S. Delta S, okay? It's a small area named as delta S, okay? Such that the normal drawn through that area is now in the direction of electric field. Okay, so I'll draw a normal at the center of this area. I'll take a normal. This normal should be in the direction of the electric field. Okay, so what happened? What did I tell? We considered some electric field lines and we named it as vector E. Now I took a small area element delta S such that the normal drawn to that area is in the direction of electric field. Okay, is in the direction of electric field. Then the number of electric field lines, I just write it in short, the number of electric field lines which are passing through this area, is directly proportional to the product of E. That is, what is E? The field lines product of E and the area delta S. That is, the number of electric field lines is proportional to what? E into delta S. Okay. This is when this case is when this one, let us name it as 1. Okay. When does it happen? Only when the normal drawn to this area is in the direction of electric field. Now suppose if I tilt this area. Okay. Now suppose if I tilt this area. Okay. This one, see, this is facing in this direction. Now say suppose if I tilt it in this direction. If I tilt it in this direction. Okay, I'll tilt it. What happens? Now the direction of the normal, this direction of this normal makes an angle theta with the electric field. Okay, this normal makes an angle theta with the electric field. Then number of electric field line is given as, it is directly proportional to E into delta S cos theta. So what happens? I just tilted this area element in a certain way that this normal makes an angle theta with this electric field. See, it might have come in this direction. This normal might have come in this direction now, making an angle theta with the electric field lines. So what happens? And during that time, the number of electric field lines is proportional to E into delta S cos theta. Now what happens? Now let us consider the flux due to this area element. So what the electric flux is denoted by delta psi. So what happens? The flux is given by, flux is equal to E into delta S if you consider the first case, and flux is equal to E into delta S cos theta if we consider the second case. Now let us consider some special cases. Okay, now let us consider some special cases. So first one is when theta is 0. If we consider theta as 0, what happens? What happens? Delta phi is equal to E into delta S cos theta. So now substitute the value of theta, that is we have taken it as 0, E into delta S cos 0. So what is cos 0? Cos 0 is nothing but 1. So E, what you will get? E into delta S, that is delta phi is equal to E into delta S, which means the direction of the normal is in the direction of electric field. This expression is nothing but this expression, right? When the normal drawn through the area is in the direction of the electric field gives you this. And when you take theta as 0, because there is no angle, when you're considering theta as 0, there is no angle, you will get the same thing. So now here we can say the flux is maximum. The flux is maximum. Okay, the flux is maximum. Now if I consider the second case, I will write it over here. Now if I consider the second case, that is when theta is equal to 90 degree. If I consider theta is equal to 90 degree, what happens? Substitute. Delta phi is equal to E into delta S cos theta, E into delta S cos 90. What is cos 90? Cos 90 is 0. So what is the answer? Answer is 0. That is delta phi is equal to 0. Here we can say that the flux is 0. the flux is 0. So in this case, that is when theta is in the direction of a magnetic field, or when theta is equal to 0, the flux is maximum. Whereas if we change it, if we tilt it and make a certain angle with the direction of a magnetic electric field lines, what happens? The electric flux will be 0. The electric flux will be 0. That is when you consider theta is equal to 90 degree. Don't worry, I'll give you the detailed notes about it. Because of space, I'm writing it somewhere around here in the screen. So make sure you understand. The notes I will provide you. Okay. So this is the case where theta is equal to 0 and the electric flux will be maximum. If we consider theta is equal to 90 degree, the electric flux will be 0. So this whole thing was in the case where we considered a small area element. We just considered a small area element. Okay. This whole story is regarding the small area element. What happens if I want a big area? If I want to calculate the electric flux of a big area, what happens? See, I want to calculate the area for this big area, electric flux for this big area. Now what happens is, this large area or say big area is made up of many number of these small area elements. Okay, these small area elements together form a large area. Okay, let me clear the screen and then I will draw it neatly. See, if I consider one large area, say this is one large area S. Okay, large area S. This large area S is made up of many small area element delta S. So in the previous explanation, we just considered one delta S and we arrived at the expression of electric flux. Now I want the expression for electric flux, or the electric flux I want to calculate for the whole area. So this whole area is made up of many number of microscopic, you can say microscopic area elements delta S. Okay, and these small area delta S have the normal in the forward direction. Okay, we saw, right, the normal drawn through this area are in the forward direction. So now if I want to calculate the flux for this entire area, what can we do? It can be written as, instead of delta phi, we just take phi. Okay, phi is equal to nothing but summation of small area element, that is summation of E delta S. Okay, we are just taking the sum of all these small area elements and we are arriving at the expression to find out the flux for the entire area. Is it very simple? Yes, it is simple. See, we just learnt about the electric flux due to one small area element and we got the expression. Now we want to find the flux for the whole area. That means we add up all these area elements and we arrive at the electric flux for one single big area, right? So what will be the expression? Phi is equal to summation of E delta S. Now take out the E outside. Now take out E outside. What happens? Summation of delta S. So this is the expression for the electric flux for a single large area. Got it? Got it? So the SI unit of electric flux is Newton Coulomb meter square. Newton Coulomb meter square. Okay, this was all about the electric flux. So we saw the special cases of the electric flux, that is if theta is equal to 0, the electric flux will be maximum. Okay, if theta is equal to 90 degree, then the flux will be 0. So this is all about electric flux. Okay, in the next class we will study about the electric dipole and we'll see some derivations in the electric dipole. But this properties of electric field lines is very important. I'll revise it again. This is very important. You may get it for 3 marks. Please don't lose marks in such simple concepts. There is no derivation, there is no numerical problem. It's just a simple theoretical part. Don't lose the marks. The first property is electric field lines are always originated from the positive charge and move or terminate towards the negative charge in case of dipole. In case of single positive charge, the electric field lines originate from the charge and move towards the infinity. Okay, but in case of single negative charge, the electric field originates at infinity and move towards the negative charge. The second property is, in a charge-free region, electric field lines are continuous lines. The third property, the tangent drawn to the electric field line at any point gives the direction of electric field at that particular point. Okay. The fourth property, the electric field line is never a closed loop. Never a closed loop. And the sixth property is, the electric field lines never cross each other. The fifth one is, the electric field lines are always perpendicular to the surface of the conductor. Okay, this was all about the electric field lines and the electric flux. And in the next class, we'll study about the electric dipole. Okay, so we'll wind up the class. Thank you.